Hello, everybody. I warmly welcome all the measurement enthusiasts out there who joined us for today's session. We are super excited that so many of you had time to join us and are interested in learning more about Oxygen 5.7, DEWETRON's latest software update. My name is Barbara, and I am today's moderator. Before we start, Ivica is already in his starting position. I briefly want to introduce you to our webinar tool. On your right side, you see a user panel. There you can download our handouts, but if you don't find the time during the session, you can also send us a message and we will send it to you afterwards. And you can also chat with Ivica and me. And we would like to have some interaction with you. And if you have any questions, the chat is completely anonymous. Nobody will see what you have asked. And now, I already mentioned his name, Ivica. I want to hand over to my colleague Ivica Baresic, who is responsible for the business development in Austria. And Ivica prepared a lot. He prepared an entire setup for us. We can be super happy to have him here today. Thank you, Ivica, for your time. The stage is yours.
You're welcome. Thank you for introducing myself. Yes, I prepared a setup, but it was not a lot because it's not a lot to show live like hands-on, but there is a lot of features that we are going to talk about. But I would like to show that setup that I prepared for today on a small web camera. What I would like to do is also to explain how I'm going to show it. So I'm going to close this here just a second. I think you should be able to see my screen. I hope so. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect via remote desktop control to our measurement system on my right side. So I'm going to open remote desktop control. That's what's possible with our measurement systems. So give me a second. Just need to find the window. Here it is. So I'm going to connect to our measurement system, which is Windows 10 based, with a remote desktop connection. So Windows remote desktop connection. And here we go. And what you can see now is the screen and the measurement software Oxygen 5.7 on my system here on my right side. Here's my hand, so you can see it. And what I have prepared today is I have prepared a small function generator. That's nothing special, really. I hope you can see what's written on it. It's like a sine wave with 100 hertz already that is being function generated. So that's here. And for today, I made an addition. I prepared a small microphone, and together with my phone, here it is. So together with my phone, we are going to generate some kind of signals, and yeah, so that's the setup on my right side. Yes.
Perfect. Thank you for showing us your setup. And if you're already talking about the signal generator and the microphone, I think we can already start with our first feature, the frequency measurement. Usually we do frequency measurements with our power option, but since not all of our customers need the power option, we decided to integrate it into the basic Oxygen license as well. Ivica, can you maybe show us what we have worked on over the past?
Yes, so exactly what you explained. So a lot of customers are asking for frequency measurement of typical analog inputs, and we always said that you can use it with our power option, but that was not enough, and those questions rised up, and we said, okay, it's time to implement a frequency measurement plugin, which is included in the Oxygen basic version, so no additional options are necessary into this into our measurement system. So I'm going to switch over, so you will be able to see on the camera what I'm going to do. So what I'm going to do in Oxygen, I'm going to drop in a recorder. So just drag and drop, because our software is intuitive to use and prepared also for touchscreens. So my measurement system here is locked because I'm connected with my typical business notebook via remote control on this system to control it. And because GoToMeeting and everything is installed on my business computer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put here a typical recorder just by drag and drop and choose the frequency signal generator or function generator within here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this function generator, and I have already put in a sine with 100 Hertz. I'm gonna turn it on. So I have turned it on. I can raise now the amplitude of this. Let's see what we can see here. I'm gonna press on Y, just simple, use the mouse button to scroll. Here we go, shift, and we can see a wonderful sinus generated by this simple function generator. And what I'm going to do is do the analysis now just by turning on the cursors, putting them on a whole period. So I can zoom in with my mouse a little bit more to hit the zero crossing a little bit better. Double click on the recorder and choose frequency. And now we see I measure with our optical visual possibilities 100 Hertz, and that's what is set up on the signal function generator. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to our channels menu on our right side, and I'm going to put in, let's say, the frequency measurement. So I'm going to choose, if I'm back here, I'm going to choose the signal generator input, so the frequency input that I'm measuring now. I'm going to go to the plugins, to the additional channel and basic mathematic functions. And I'm going to choose frequency measurement. So I'm going to add this one here. There are some setups that can be changed, but for our simple demonstration today, nothing is necessary to be changed. And what we can see now here is that a new channel is generated called frequency and signal generator. So my first channel, SIG-gen, frequency is down here, and I can put it and take it out just like that as a digital channel. So here we go. And we see that we are measuring 99.9 Hertz. And it doesn't matter if I change the amplitude now or whatever, we are still very accurate in measuring the frequency. I can now also change the frequency of this wonderful signal. So let's go to not just change the frequency, but also change the kind of signal. Let's go to 500 Hertz. And let's see what kind of signal it is.
Can we get a triangle? Oh,
here we go.
a triangle.
Yes. So I'm generating now a triangle with 500 Hertz, and we are exactly also measuring 500 Hertz. So I can show it again here. I hope you can read it. So give me a second. Yeah, I have frozen the picture. Of course, if you freeze the picture within Oxygen, you will not be able to see a live picture. So here we go. Triangle is written in 500 Hertz on the function generator, and I hope you can read it. So that's it. So that's a wonderful signal, and I thought maybe something different, maybe also something interesting to show is maybe a microphone. So what I'm going to do now is I have, as I said, a microphone connected here, as you can see, and a typical mobile phone where you can download over the App Store, a so-called app, a simple tone generation app with 440 Hertz. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take that microphone to show also that that's possible with a real sensor, and microphone is a real sensor. And I'm going to generate the measurement of the frequency for that microphone as well. So here we go. Microphone measurement. I'm talking now, so that's the frequency of my voice at the moment. What I'm going to do is put the microphone here into the recorder. I'm going to zoom a little bit so we can see. I mean, I have turned on automatic scaling, and we are going to, give me a second. So shift. Just gonna need to hit it. So that looks better. So I'm gonna be quiet, but I'm gonna use my phone now to generate some kind of frequencies. I hope you can hear it, because I have not really tried it on over the microphone. Barbara, you're gonna tell me if you can hear. Give me a second. That tone. Yes, so we can hear it. It's very loud here in my room, and you can see in the microphone measurement, if I don't talk, it's 440 Hertz. That's exactly what that tone should be on the phone. And I'm gonna play some, how is that instrument called in English? Flute?
Flute. I think flu is a sickness, a disease.
Flute. So I'm gonna play the flute. Let's try it. So you see we can measure the frequency of that microphone input and the tone with any analog input signal. We can measure the frequency live, and the frequency is measuring what it should do perfectly fine. Yes.
Thank you. That's super cool. And again, for everybody who joined us afterwards, this feature is included in the basic Oxygen license. So it's available for everybody who works with Oxygen 5.7.
Exactly.
Ivica, what do you think? Shall we continue with the next feature?
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Perfect. Because I've seen several people from the automotive sector who joined us today, and I think they might be pretty happy about what we did with our CAN feature. Will you maybe introduce us to the changes?
Yes, I will do so. So just again, the hint, we are live here now in this webinar. If you have questions, use the chat. It's anonymous. Nobody else can read it, just me and Barbara. Use that interaction possibilities with us. If we can answer that question, we will do it during the show or after the show. If we are not able to answer that question, we are going to contact you afterwards. So yes, CAN is got a huge improvement for during 5.7. And if you look at the picture that I'm showing now, that's what CAN was before Oxygen 5.7. So you needed the DBC file or an AR XML file to decode the CAN messages and the CAN inputs that we have. And of course, you could choose what you want to have out of the DBC file, but that's it. But we had a lot of customers who told us that during R&D, so during development and research, that there are some kind of CAN messages on the CAN bus that are not included in any DBC file. And it would be really helpful if they could decode the CAN manually, the CAN messages. So what we did is, if we go now to our channels menu again, and if we go to our CAN, which I've turned on a multi-card of us, it's still possible to load a DBC or AR XML file. So that's still there. That's the functions that we kept, of course. But it's now possible to add a message and then add signals into that message with all the inputs now being available completely free. So you can enter your CAN information manually with all the DBC scaling, with all the general inputs that are necessary. Of course, you need that information, but if you are researching developing a motor, you will have those informations. Additionally to that, since we found out that there should be some kind of editor in Oxygen, we made it more visualized that we can now edit CAN messages, and that's done by this button here in the again at the CAN input, messages and signals. We have built a small overview where all the necessary options that you have to do and change are now available. The message, the signal, you can load DBC files, you can change the baud rate, you can add messages and signals here. So it's like a small editor, a small overview added within Oxygen to be able to have to work very, very fast and add signals manually if necessary for the CAN bus. So that's a huge improvement. We got already a lot of feedback from customers that need those features, and they're very, very happy so far.
But I think there is even more to it, no?
You're talking about the second CAN feature?
Yeah, I'm talking about OBD-II or ODB-II, like you.
Yeah, so that's something that I always misspell as well. So it's OBD-II, it's onboard diagnostics, and I by accident always say ODB-II. It's OBD-II, so onboard diagnostics. We are now able to read OBD over CAN as well. So we have a plugin installed. Again, everything is done over the channels menu. If you choose the CAN input that we have, and you go again to our additional channels and advanced mathematics, you are able to choose OBD-II now. And with OBD-II, you have the possibilities to use. So OBD-II is a standard. If you connect that to a simple car, a normal car, you have those parameters already out of a database, and you can see those data here. So OBD-II is a standard, and you can see calculated engine load, engine coolant temperature, everything that you get over the OBD-II, you can now load within Oxygen without problems. But again, during research and development, there may be some OBD-II or OBD parameters which are not in the standard included yet. So we added the possibility to add new parameters or an additional file that has the OEM who is testing those cars available. So OBD-II is now available within Oxygen as well, yes.
Maybe next time we do an onboard webinar, then it's OBD via
Oh, you're talking about, you're
OBW.
talking OBW onboard webinar, like in the car, driving around and doing OBD measurements or vibration measurements. Yeah, that could be a nice idea.
I just
We
try to
should
be
think
funny.
about that. Yeah. Yes, nice. Very good. Yeah.
What about the new export features? I think our software department worked a lot to get some new export features included. Can you maybe show
Yes.
us what they included? I think some of them are pretty nice.
Yeah, so there are some new features around export. There is also a new format called HDF5. To be honest, I have not really an idea. I have not met that format in Austria so far. Those who need HDF5 know what that kind of format is and going to be happy that we can export in that format. But a very often used export thing is CSV text or Excel, and we have amazing new features for that. For example, for CSV and text, we added the possibility to change the decimal precision. So it was always exported with 12 decimals, and sometimes that's just too much. So you can reduce that, and you see it here. You can reduce now the decimal precision. What we have added as well is the possibility to fill data gaps. So what does that mean? If you have two signals, you have two different kind of sample rates. So you have a sample at 1 Hertz, and then you have a second signal with 10 Hertz that you can see exactly here. This means that there is no sample available for the first signal, which is 10 times slower, and in post processing that may cause a lot of problems. And we talked to customers, existing customers, and they told us, give us the possibility to fill those gaps with the measurement sample from before, and that's what's happening. If you click here, fill data gaps, what is happening is that those empty spots here in Excel are going to be filled with the previous sample information. And then when the sample measurement changes, so when the sample is done, you get the new information, and the next gaps are filled again. So that's a huge benefit for post-processing. And what we have done as well is that you can choose now what kind of statistics do you want to have exported as well. So not all of them are exported every time. And what we have included as well is that you can choose if that for every event, for every trigger event, because our system can be triggered and can be triggered multiple times as long as it is listening for or looking for triggers. And for every event, it's possible now to have a new sheet within Oxygen, and I'm going to show that. So I'm back on my desktop now, so I'm not within Oxygen. Just waiting to see if this is going to. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
So you see Excel?
We see channel, sample rate, unit, Spannung, which is voltage, Strom, which is current.
Yeah, looks like my screen just froze. So I'm gonna try to reshare it. Give me just a second. I'll try to reshare it. So here we go. Yes, okay. Looks like
so we are back in
switching.
Oxygen.
Yeah, so trying to close this. Yeah, so here we go. That's Excel. And for every event, it's possible to have a new sheet within Excel. So you see here 3 events happened, and we have separated those events, which is again very, very important for post-processing, because every event has maybe different calculations, and it's possible to have them yet split within Excel. exactly. Here we go. Yeah. I think that's it about export. Yes, exactly.
Okay, thank you. I think we talked about the major features, the major updates we implemented, but there are also some smaller changes which aim customer experience, user interface improvements, and so on. Can you maybe show us what happened there?
Yeah, so existing customers again are going to be very happy that there are like additional improvements within Oxygen, and those who are going to start with Oxygen 5.7, they will not even realize how it was before. But small changes happen. Like we have a new calculation option for statistics. So if you go again to the channels menu, and if you choose any channel, and you say that you would like to make statistics like an RMS value, it doesn't matter. If you go within that RMS value, this statistics channel, you are now able to change the calculation type of the measurement. So it could be either reset on measurement start or being the calculation type on continuous, which means now you have the possibility to choose if on every recording start you would like to reset the measurements, the average statistic measurement, or if you want to have it run over a longer period of time, as long as your system is ready to measure, which is interesting for long time measurements. So this is a very nice new option. Important is that if you are using Oxygen right now and you're updating to 5.7, don't be scared. Your standard, which we had until now, is going to be kept as standard, so nothing is going to change in your measurement setup. So we have also new settings within the event list, like you can choose again the time, how many decimal the time has, and so further things. We have the possibility now to generate multifile by additional triggers, and the subfolder is not necessary anymore. So until now, always a subfolder was generated, and then the data files, the splits have been in that subfolder. We had a request by a customer who asked us to have no subfolders anymore. So you can choose now if you would like to have that subfolder or not. We improved the accuracy of electrical power measurements for low sampling rates. So that's something very interesting because we always looked like in very high sampling rates because very high fundamental frequencies, and then we got customers who said, yes, that's good, but we have a second, we have your power analyzer, but we would like to measure very low fundamental frequency, like around 40, 30, 50 hertz with a very, very low sampling rate. And we said, yes, that's possible. We are still in our accuracy, but we are going to make some bonus for you. We are going to make that accuracy even better for that low sampling rates, and we improve that accuracy. Table scaling. Table scaling is very interesting for those who have sensors with table scaling, like they copy and paste Excel tables into the sensor scaling because it's not linear, because the sensor scaling differs. And we had the request that until now it was like if you hit the signal out, if the signal is out of that specification of the table scaling you had and not a number, as a channel output, and the customer asked us, could you please extrapolate that in table, and we said, okay, we can do that. So if the signal is out of the table, we are extrapolating the last information of the table, and you will not have not the number anymore, so we will have a real output. But be careful, you have to always think about if that output may be correct or not. Maybe it's not linear there as well anymore. We have further advanced graphic setups because a remote desktop and all the tools that are possible, as I'm using now Windows Remote Control, need some different settings for such software, and we are able now to show those and change those advanced graphic setups depending on the remote desktop connection that is used. Just if you have some errors in like graphic errors, you can change those graphic setups to have a better view. better result. Exactly. So TEDs, we are now supporting also older versions of TEDs. We thought they are not necessary anymore, but we got some customer requests if we could support them as well. And we got some sensor database improvements regarding different sensors that can be now added into the sensor database as well.
That's very cool. Thank you.
Well,
You already said it, but I want to add it again because I think it's super important for all the users out there. So if you do any changes in your, so no, from the beginning. So about the statistics, we don't change anything if you don't change anything. So if you want to have anything changed, you have to actively do the changes. Otherwise, your measurement setups won't change. You won't experience any unexpected changes. I think that's very important. So you can update your measurement software to Oxygen 5.7 without expecting any unwanted changes.
Exactly.
The next topic we want to touch base on is something that makes me particularly proud because it comes from my own department. Ivica, can you do me the favor?
Yeah, so we are talking about the online help and digital user guide. So it's nice to have PDF versions of Oxygen, but they are not available maybe everywhere. So we decided to implement online help. It's going to be online soon. You know, I think more about it. So we opened the online help, and there is so much more planned with it, with like more interactions, videos, and stuff. Like if you search for like frequency measurement, we have already like small tips and hints to that features, like also on YouTube, like videos and stuff. We are going to put those videos in there. These are stuff like that you can't do with PDF. We're going to embed them, and it's just easier and more intuitive to search in such an online help. And maybe you can tell us a little bit more about it. What maybe some future features are going to be with those online helps.
Sarah, my colleague, she's currently working on improving the entire experience of the customer. So as you said, in the future, we not only want to have software online, but also our hardware manual. So you get a new one-stop shop where you get everything online. And our plan is to work on it, continuously improve it, and at some point we even want to integrate it into our Oxygen, that you can just hover over something and you will get all the information needed, or all the information you did not want to see but you found out in addition, and helps you to perform even better measurement analysis.
Perfect. That's amazing, because Oxygen is getting more and more features included within Oxygen. And if you can hover over something and find the help that you need, and it's installed like on the system as well, that's amazing.
Yeah, perfect. We liked it too.
Amazing.
We also added new Skippy commands, right?
Yeah, Skippy is like always a part of our webinars if you talk about Skippy. So what I would like to do is to show what we change, or what two additional. So I'm not going to talk too much about Skippy, but what I would like to show is two additional commands that we added, and how Oxygen can be controlled like by ghost hands from the far by a third-party software. So I'm gonna what I'm going to do is I'm gonna like have that screen, so that you see that I'm still remote connected to my system on my right side. And I'm going to start a third-party program. Let's call it that way, even if it's programmed by DEWETRON. And that's how it looks like. It can look like whatever, any test bench software or whatever kind of software you are using. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to connect to that system on my right side. So it's going to be the IP to my system, which is, give me a second, I just need to think about it. And the port is 10,001. So I'm going to try to connect. Here we go. So what you already see, or what I see, and I'm going to point to it, is remote connection active over Skippy. And that's my IP address now in this small network that I have generated. And what I can do with this third-party program, that's what Skippy does. It's not just you can connect via remote desktop control and look at our system, but you can control our system and our software with a third-party program. So that's a third-party program. If I click here now, start recording, Oxygen in the background, as you can see, started recording. So that's just some to explain to those who have not any impact or have not used Oxygen so far. And Skippy so far. Skippy is called Standard Communication Protocol interface. That's a standard, and it's sending like text commands to measurement systems or microchips. It doesn't matter. And I'm using now a small hint. So I have my text file here that is showing me the text commands that you can send, and I usually don't know them by heart. I'm not that good. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the export settings. And what you can see is here the possibility to export on measurement and automatically. And we had a customer request. So we are always extending those features by customer requests. And what I'm going to do now, a customer asked us, could we please have that possibility to be set by Skippy, so by a Skippy command. The Skippy command, as I said, I don't know by heart. I'm going to copy and paste that. So it's just easy and simple. A command that you send, which can be hard coded. You don't have to type it, and you see the how is it called in English?
Checkbox.
The checkbox is set exactly. So I'm gonna. So you see the checkbox is set. I can uncheck that again by the command off. So this can be easily done. It was a request by a customer of ours. But
who is
more
in there as well? The customer
who
is
is?
joining, so maybe.
Okay, I didn't see. Yes, nice, perfect. Greetings. So what I'm going to do now is I'm gonna put an offset to my, and you can see it on my signal generator command here that I have here, an offset within Oxygen. And what's very important for a lot of measurements is to be able to offset to zero those offsets of signals. So within Oxygen, it's just clicking that button here, and I have made that zero offset. But it was necessary for measurements for third-party test bench software to be able to make that offset via remote control within the Skippy command. And what we did here is there is again a command. Again, you don't have to type it. It can be a zero button within your third-party program. It's you send that command, and now look here what's happening to the offset. You send that command, and that offset is done. So you can really remote control, like by I don't know, by Ghost. Our software can be controlled by Ghost, let's say it that way. So you use a third-party program, you connect via Skippy to it, and again, watch here the zero, the offset that's happening to the sensor. If you send that command by a third-party software, the offset is done. This is possible, and this allows so much to do, like for test bench softwares and third-party programs that have to control other parts as well. They can control our measurement system as well. So that's very important to know. And that's the two commands which got in for 5.7 for Skippy. And I have not talked about all the other possibilities to send data to the third-party program, to load setups, to load a complete Oxygen setup with that Skippy possibility with the third-party program. I have not talked about all those possibilities because we already expect them, like they are basics, everybody knows about them. If you are interested in more about Skippy, just contact us. Let's talk about it. We can show and prove all the possibilities that we have with Skippy.
Yeah. So you are a Skippy fan?
I'm getting more and more into it because I haven't used it so far, but yes, I'm getting more and more into it because it allows you so much to work with Oxygen. And if you have a third-party program controlling a motor or a whole test bench, it allows you to have everything focused on one single software. Yeah,
sounds exciting.
it is. It is definitely.
We also want to make you aware of our cooperation that is still ongoing. We already had a webinar about it, and I want to just briefly touch on it. We started a cooperation with a dear partner, Müller BPM Vibroakustiksysteme, and thanks to this partnership, it is now possible to integrate power data with NVH data. So starting from now on, you can stream your data from Oxygen directly into the PAC.io hub from Müller BPM Vibroakustiksysteme. And customers from either company can benefit of the features of both companies. So if you want to know more about it, reach out to us. We prepared an own webinar. We have lots of material about it, and we are super happy to talk to you about your potential application. That's already it. Finally, Ivica, I see you have one slide left.
Yes.
I think a new era begins.
Yes, that's big news. That's always where we get very proud, because we know that's a major step behind us, a new major step coming towards us. We are having a new major release with the end of December. I hope prior to Christmas. I hope it's going to be a Christmas present for us. So we are starting with, or after 2 years, I think even more than 2 years, we are getting a new major release called Oxygen 6.0. And that's the start of data navigation. And we are trying to, what that means is, so data navigation is a lot of things. And not everything is going to be available from December, but there is going to be already some features included. But 6.0 means the start of data navigation, which means you can open multiple DMD files and overlay them over each other and check how they correspond with each other. So just analyze multiple measurements at the same time. What always was asked and asked very often is, we need a DMD batch expert. If we do a multiple measurement, please make it possible that we can do a batch export with Oxygen for CSV that we showed prior to it, or MATLAB or whatever. And it's coming now with data navigation and Oxygen 6.0. We are going to have statistics and formulas for arrays, which is interesting for electrical power applications or any other applications where array measurements are necessary. We are going to support additional cameras. That's always a question. We would like to have that camera and here camera, and what kind of camera. We are going to support additional cameras with that release 6.x as well. And of course, we are going to extend the video features there, which are already implemented with new features. Exactly.
That's super cool. I'm pretty excited about Oxygen 6.0, not 5.7,
yeah.
5.7.
Yeah. So as I said, we are happy to have, if we have questions from customers and actually, or visitors or users of the webinar. We have actually a question that I can see, and the question is, if I have a question. So is DEWETRON planning to add more export formats in the future to Oxygen? Because they used to have export formats, some example to Famos and so far. Yes, so we are adding features to Oxygen, export features to Oxygen, depending on customer requests. We're not going to add them by ourselves, because I think that the customers of ours should need to tell us what they need. Otherwise, we are going to add export files or data files possibilities which nobody needs. So we are here reacting. If you have the need to have exports for farmers, we are going to do it. Please also check if it's possible maybe to read DMD directly in Famos. That may be possible as well. So we have some cooperations here. I'm gonna check. We're gonna come back to you if that's necessary. If that's something that is necessary for your application, please get in contact with us. We are implementing export features depending on customer requests. So that's something that I would like to tell you.
Perfect, thank you. And like Ivica said, we are working with our customer feedback, so we kindly ask you for feedback. We are at the end of our webinar. Thank you, Ivica, for all your time, all your efforts. And once Ivica and I close our webinar windows, a survey will pop up for you on your screen, and we would really appreciate if you could fill out the survey. In there, you will get asked some questions about how you like the webinar. So of course, we want to improve our webinars as well. But you can also give oxygen wishes, which is very important to us. As Ivica said, all our improvements, everything we implement into our oxygen and into our roadmap will be included from webinars, for instance, and from the communication with our customers. So if you are interested in some features, add them into your survey, and maybe it's in Oxygen 6.1. Who knows?
Yes,
Thank you for joining
perfect.
us today, and have a great day.
Cheers. Bye-bye to everybody.
Bye.